guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well and you're social distancing and being safe and doing all that jazz, and hopefully you're not going insane by being self-quarantined in the house. So I thought I would do a little video for you. It's kind of just going to be me explaining what happened to me and our Italy trip and what happened, and the travel company that I booked with who hasn't given our money back. So it's kind of going to be about that and my experience with that. I know there's going to be a few people in the same situation. I just wanted to talk about how the company have handled our situation, because I personally don't think it was handled very well, and I know other people might be in the same boat, and it might just be of interest to you if you ever book through them or are thinking about booking through them in the future. So at the end of January, we had just come back from Prague and I wanted to book to go to Venice, and my boyfriend was like, oh, let's wait till we get back from Prague. So originally I wanted to book it before we went to Prague because I found a really good deal, and I held out, I waited, which meant that we couldn't get the flights to Heathrow. We had to go from Gatwick, which is so annoying because Heathrow is so much closer, but I thought it's such a good deal, let's just do it. So originally we booked to go to Venice on the 2nd of March, and we booked our whole trip pretty much through Voyage Privé, and I've used Voyage Privé 3 times before in the past with going to trips in Europe. Before the situation, I would have highly recommended them. They're sort of like a luxury travel company, so essentially you can go on the app or the website. So for example, they'll have like 3 sales of that specific destination at that specific time, and they last like a few days and then they disappear, and then a new sale will come on. So it's sort of kind of like finding a good deal when it's on there and kind of taking it when it's there, sort of thing. So the one I really wanted, obviously that went because we left it, and then I got another one. So I booked through Voyage Privé, don't know why I'm doing this. I booked through Voyage Privé, and we were meant to be staying at the NH Hotel, so the NH Collection Hotel along the Grand Canal in Venice, which would have been amazing. And included in our deal was like a free gift upon arrival, 10% off the minibar, 10% off the bar, I think 10% off the restaurant. Breakfast was included in this too. And we had flights one way going with BA and EasyJet coming back, and I wanted to get a case that we could share, like a big one. So it put it on the EasyJet flight coming back but not on the way out, so I had to do that separately. So I had to apply to get a suitcase on the way out with British Airways and pay separately for that. So yeah, I paid for my flights and my hotel in Voyage Privé, and then separately a week before we went you can pick between like different experiences, and we paid for a gondola ride. So that came to like £27 per person. So considering how much they charge when you're actually there, we thought we'd do it through the app, through Voyage Privé, and add that onto our booking. So then we added it all in. And that was a week before we were going to go. The coronavirus was around. It was around when I went to Prague. It wasn't an issue back then. And the week before we went to Venice, it started to become a bit more of an issue. So the whole week before we went to Venice, it was kind of like, are we going to go? We're not going to go. And each day as it went past, it was like, Northern Italy, it's Northern Italy, Lombardy. There was a town in Veneto which was only an hour and a half away from Venice. Yeah, it's an hour and a half, but it's still not far from Venice. And then everyone was saying in the news, do not travel to Northern Italy unless necessary. But the issue with this was, we were being told not to travel there. We were being told by all my different jobs that I work at, if you come back you will not be able to come to work for 16 days if you've been to Northern Italy. Venice is in Northern Italy. It was in the red area when you were looking at the maps. My partner's dad had literally only been in hospital a few weeks before, and he had open heart surgery, so his immune system was low and he would have been definitely affected by that if we had carried it. So for example, we weren't exactly positive about going. I did really want to go, and I got in touch with Voyage Privé and basically asked like, can we get a refund or can we get a voucher? And the response I was met with was absolutely appalling. I did a lot of tweeting during this time, and I don't usually use Twitter that much, but I used it a lot to get in contact with other people going with Voyage Privé, other people going to Venice, whether they went. Lots of people said they still went and they was like, it's fine, and a lot of people I knew had cancelled. The only problem with this is they didn't want to give us our money back, and I get it because the government had said, yeah, it's okay to still travel, yet it was also saying don't travel unless necessary, and our work was saying you will have to self-quarantine even if you have no symptoms when you come back. So essentially we couldn't have gone because of work and my partner's dad. You have to think of other people around you and the more vulnerable, but the government was saying you can still go, it's still safe to travel. So essentially what they were saying was it's absolutely fine to go, we can't refund you, we can't do anything. Basically they were very unhelpful. So at the time I was sending numerous tweets out because we weren't sure whether we were going to go there and they were going to lock it down, we would be stuck. I mean, they took out the filming for Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible, they pulled that out of Venice, and I just thought, if you're going to pull out a filming crew and a filming production, why would I go there? So essentially I did some tweets, I sent an email and stuff, and they just weren't very helpful. I will get the emails up and tell you what I actually said in the emails. Oh, there's just so many emails. So basically the CDC, which is the American government travel organisation, have basically said no essential travel. I messaged them that. They said obviously they go by the ABTA, which is fair, but obviously if another country is saying do not travel there, I don't understand why we left it so late. I do think that they left it too late to shut the borders, because obviously it was an epidemic at the time, let alone what's happened now, and we would have got back on the Wednesday, and on the Sunday they locked it down. So if we'd have gone just a week later, we would have got a full refund. So obviously we tried to explain like we would not be happy to travel there, like it's in northern Italy, people are saying do not go to northern Italy. We weren't sure whether we would have been locked down there, we would have had to quarantine when we get back regardless of if we had symptoms, because that's what our work was saying. And also we may not have got it, we may have been absolutely fine, but we may have carried it. And if we brought it back and gave it to our parents, our grandparents, my partner's dad who was vulnerable, that's not okay. And we had hospital letters, doctor letters from my partner's dad being in hospital. They just didn't care. They just had no interest. Eventually he stopped emailing me back. The guy from Voyage Privé, he just ignored me until I sent more information, sent him photos of the areas that you couldn't go to. He still was refusing to budge. And it's not even that I was like, I want my money back. I even said to him, I will take a voucher for your website and I will use it again, because at some point in the future we will go to Venice and I will use it again. If not Venice, I'll use it somewhere else. So after doing that, after not really getting very far with Voyage Privé and him just eventually ignoring me, completely ignoring me regardless of what I said, which I think is such a bad thing to do, I would have rang. But if you ring Voyage Privé, you will know it costs like something stupid like £1 a minute. I rang originally because when I first booked this trip it didn't go through straight away. It actually held my money and was like, we're not sure if we're going to let you go on this trip yet, we just need to like finalise some things. So I rang them like, you're holding like all my money and I don't even know if I'm going on this trip. And when I done that, I think I was on the phone for like 10 minutes or whatever. It was like £10 a minute, it was like £1 a minute, which was ridiculous. So I haven't rang them in this time, and I've just emailed, but obviously he stopped emailing me. Other people have contacted me on Twitter saying they've had the same situation. I think if it had been locked down, we were meant to go the next day, we would have been okay and we would have got a full refund because of what the government had said, like no travel and restricting the travel, and we probably would have got like a refund or a voucher. I would have been fine with either of those. Like a voucher I would have been absolutely fine with because I would have used it somewhere else, because I had used them many times. This has now really knocked my trust in this company and they've now checked out completely. They emailed us today basically saying we've checked out and you know, we're just not going to be putting any holidays up for sale at the current time, like take care of yourselves, goodbye, see you soon. So they've checked out. They also emailed me yesterday saying your cancellation has gone ahead for your Venice trip. So basically they emailed us saying if you want to cancel your trip, you know, you need to email this with all your booking references and stuff. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give it a go. They've messaged me. I mean, I might be able to get my money back. That's obviously why they've messaged me. And they were like, but if you're travelling within the next 72 hours, do not bother because we won't be able to get back to you for 2 weeks. And I just thought, realistically, you should be getting back to the people that were travelling within the next 72 hours. So I sent the email. 2 weeks later, I've got this email that I got yesterday, basically saying your cancellation has gone ahead and the trip altogether cost £455. So it's not the end of the world, like it's not a ridiculous amount of money, but it's obviously still our hard-earned money that we now have nothing to show for. So in the email, he basically said, your £455 will be refunded to your account within the cancellation fees that you've agreed on, which were £455. So essentially they're taking the whole amount and using it as a cancellation fee. I just think it's just such a mad way to think. It clearly wasn't safe to travel there on the 2nd of March, especially after they shut it down a few days later, after we would have returned. It wasn't safe then, it's not safe now. I still think we should have been able to get a refund or get a return, or at least have someone speak to me and not just ignore me eventually. I did write a message to the CEO of the company, an email, just to let them know what was going on. Obviously I didn't hear anything back, but you never know, so I did that too. I actually reached out to the hotel directly. They said I had to go through the travel company. They were going to see if we could try and like freeze our booking, but they couldn't because I did it through Voyage Privé. I then went for EasyJet and BA constantly over Twitter. EasyJet said they could refund me my tax, which was like £13 or something like that. I mean, it's something, so I was like, sure, do it. And BA were like, no, we can't do that, you have to go through your travel company. So I think putting in the cancellations means that they are taking like the big chunk of money, but I think we will get the money back for like the taxes on the flights, the baggage, and I think also the gondola ride. And I don't think we'll get anything back for the hotel or like the actual full price of the flights. But I just wanted to come on and just talk about that because, you know, it's such an inhumane way to be, especially because it was an epidemic at the time of when we were supposed to go. The churches were closed at the time, a lot of things were closed in Venice at the time, so we wouldn't have been getting the holiday that we had originally booked to go for. So I feel like to force someone into going on a holiday where it's in the red and it's the red zone saying do not travel to northern Italy, I think it's very irresponsible of Voyage Privé, and not reaching out to us and giving us the opportunity to get a refund or a voucher is just it's a joke really, because I would have used that company again and again and again, but I feel like now I have no faith in them, and I would be very wary if I were you guys now to actually book with them. I know a few people have had issues with them in the past. Luckily I have not until this very moment in time. I know that a lot of people have had issues when they get to hotels and stuff, and there's things that I've heard, and like they haven't got a very good reputation on Twitter. Like if you go on their French Twitter, because it's a French company, people are constantly going for them about something. So yeah, I would be very, very wary about booking with them in the future. I think now for like upcoming trips, whenever I'll be able to go away again, I feel like now I'm just going to book it all with just direct flights with BA and hotel through booking.com, because if I had done that, I may have not been able to get my flights back because I haven't been able to, but I would have probably been able to get a full refund on booking.com, because you can do a lot of them and not pay until you get there. So even though Voyage Privé does do 4-star and 5-star hotels at a fraction of the price, it doesn't have the greatest customer service, and the fact that you can't call and speak to them without them charging you is a joke. And now that the fact that they've checked out, like people are still going to be stranded. I saw some guy on Twitter say that he literally went to Venice, then they locked it down, and Voyage Privé then messaged him like, oh yeah, you don't need to go to Venice, we're going to give you a refund or whatever they said, like a voucher. But he'd already gone that morning. They didn't update him before his flight. So I just think they're a bit irresponsible. I don't think they're really on top of the whole situation, especially because they're making us fly to Italy where the epidemic actually was at the time, and it was growing a lot faster than in China. I just think it was very, very irresponsible of the company, and has really made me not want to go with them again. I have spoken to a few people about this on Instagram and told them the company, and a lot of people have said they probably would swerve that company now. And it's such a shame because, you know, like it's such a hard time for a lot of companies, and I get it, and a lot of people are losing money and stuff. And you know, if you're able to get a refund, fab. If you're getting a voucher for another point in time, but your money's still held in the account, amazing. I would not have minded that, and I would have been absolutely happy to not have my £455 down the drain. Obviously we also paid for parking at Gatwick. That went down the drain. We couldn't get any refund for that. So there's obviously more things like that on top of the actual hotel stay and flights. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and say that. I get it, obviously we weren't in the time frame of the government shutting it down. I feel like the government took too long to shut it down, which is probably why it's been so bad there, and why it's also so currently bad here. But I just wanted to check in, let you know why we didn't go, why there won't be a vlog series for that or any content, because Italy was at the top of my list for such a long time to go to. It's been the top of my bucket list for a very, very long time, and I was so excited to go, and I literally can't believe this has happened. But we thought health is wealth, health is more important than going on a trip. We were only going for 2 nights and we can go anytime. So we took the loss, we took the hit, and we decided not to go, and that was our decision. We haven't got any money back for it. I wish companies would understand a bit more and maybe help us out and give us a refund, or even give us a voucher, like I've said. But I'm still going to keep going, I'm still going to push, and I'm going to ask, and I'm going to see if anything can be done, because if you don't ask, you don't get. But I just wanted to come in here and let you guys know. Anyways, hope you guys are safe, healthy, self-isolating, social distancing and all that jazz, and you are feeling good and, you know, being motivated even if you are at home. I know it is hard sometimes, but obviously my comments are always open, my messages are open, my Instagram inbox is open if you want to chat, if you need to, or if you've gone through something similar to this. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. I know it was a bit long and long-winded, but I just definitely feel like I had to get it off my chest, because it's definitely made me really upset and angry within the last few weeks to be treated this way by a company that I really did love and have unfortunately fallen out of love with. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're new. Please subscribe, I'd love to have you, and I'll see you again with a new video. Thanks for watching guys, bye.